Hello friends, I am Amogam and today I will be dealing with session number 30, that is identification of the title of passage, exercises and revision. In the previous two sessions, that is 28 and 29, I dealt with passages, identification of a title of a passage. In the passage 28, I dealt with how to identify a title to the passage, and they are given the key pointers how we can identify the title for a passage. In that, we've seen we can look at the keywords, theme, the main idea of the passage to help us to come up with a title. Then there's no need to read the passage in detail or very carefully. You need to skim through it, or you need to go quickly through it, and then you have to come up. Remember the main points. Main points of the passage, and these are things which are very important for identifying a passage. And which in that session we also talked about that the title should be such that it should convey the idea of the author, and it should convey the tone of the author. Then it should inspire, it should inspire the reader to read the passage. In other words, the title should be very catchy, very attractive in nature, and then the title should indicate the content of the passage. So all these things should be kept in mind while identifying the title for a passage. That's what we have done in the 28th session. And in the 29th session, we have seen two sample passages. And the first sample passage, that is on the passage is on NSS. In the first part of the passage, the passage highlights that Indian youth were not very much interested in social service in those days. They were not really responsible. They were not very responsible towards social issues, social concerns. So to bring them back on that social responsibility path, the Indian government came up with a scheme that is National Service Scheme. And then the passage also talks about what are the things that NSS does. It helps in repairing the roads, it helps in building the old, it helps in building schools, and it helps in building slums and all things. And it also tells, the passage also tells that the NSS volunteers help whenever there's an emergency like famine, earthquake, in all those scenarios. NSS volunteers, they come up and they help people who are there on the ground trying to cope up with the situation. That is the first passage, and the title of the passage is aptly given as National. Uh, the title of the passage is given as National Service. That is, it is given as NS, the full form of NSS. Then the second passage talks about the importance of co-education in India, and the beginning of the passage highlights how the concept of co-education came into India. Then it also talks about where is actually we can find the co-education system, and it also highlights that still in rural areas and in towns there is lack of co-education, as we have separate schools for boys and girls. And in the second part of the passage, we have learned that the concept of co-education is really rewarding, and it was brought into existence by Switzerland, as Switzerland is the first country to implement co-education system in western part of the world. So aptly the title for that passage is given as common education for all genders. And so for the first passage, the title is given as National Social Service. So those two passages have been dealt by, and now here we will be dealing with some passages, some more passages, and we will be trying to come up with the title for these passages, and we will also try to do a revision of the concepts which have been dealt earlier in the two sessions. So let us begin with exercise 10. So the second slide is about title of the question. So question would be like this: give suitable titles to the passages in the following slides. So this is how the question will be there. Give suitable titles to the passage uh, given below. That's how the question will be there for you in the exams. So let us look at passage 1. Today the radio sets are very cheap. The transistors are so handy that they have caught the fancy of everyone, men, women and children. This friendly chatted gadget has proved a bonanza to millions, both manufacturers and users. Broadcasts over radio have benefited students, teachers, panchayat people, farmers, fishermen, and soldiers stations. So, and soldiers stations in forwarding posts. Most of the developing countries, including India, are using radio broadcasts for long distance education and weather warnings. The radio has enabled uh, the radio has enabled the farmers to grow three or four crops a year by listening to Kisan broadcasts. They have better crops and cattle since various problems related to them are discussed in the broadcasts, providing useful tips on remedial measures. So the passage talks about radio sets and how it is helpful in various ways to various people and in various degrees. So, before going to read the second passage, you need to give a title. So, you can give a title. The title can be. So, since the entire passage is about radio, so the keyword is radio, and your title should include the keyword radio, and you can come up with usefulness of radio, usefulness of radio today, or radio. So the keyword is radio and related that how it is useful. So it also talks about usefulness. So a tentative title may be like this: usefulness of radio today. So that can be a title for the first passage. Now let's move on to the second one then. Electricity is the life force of modern world. The use of electricity in daily life at all levels is too expensive to be enumerated. Electric power has transformed human life into amazing experience of convenience, luxury, comfort, and incredible ease. A great power became the slave of a human finger's push to a button brings the light, and same act sets hundreds and hundreds of thousands of gadgets in action. It simply is a miracle, very real and more bountiful than the genie of the Aladdin wonder lamp. The electricity revolutionized our houses, drawing rooms, and kitchen with useful implements. So this is the second passage. and it talks about, and this one talks about electricity. So the key word, the whole passage is about electricity. The word electricity is used again and again and again. So here you can see importance of electricity in our lives. That can be a title. So the keyword is electricity. That should be included in the title, and we can add whichever word or whichever phrase which can be useful. But the keyword is electricity, and that must be there in the title. So that can be a title. Usefulness, importance of electricity in our lives today. That can be a title for this passage. Then we will move on to the third passage. Once a giraffe reached the bank of a river to drink water after eating leaves from trees. He saw his reflection in the water and became very happy, seeing his dappled skin, but noticed that his skin was very long compared to other animals. As a result, he became very sad and started criticizing God. As he turned back after drinking water, some lions attacked him and tried their best to kill him, but unfortunately could not bring him down due to his high neck. In the end, they ran away from there unsuccessfully. The giraffe thanked God and was very sad for what he said about God. So this is a story, and it has a moral. So so the thing is that you should not come to a sudden conclusion. You should not come to a sudden conclusion and should not blame. So one should not, whatever thing you have, you should be happy with that. So whatever you have, should be happy with that. And so the thing is that you should not curse anything. You should not curse for anything. And whatever happens, whatever is there, it happens for good. Because the giraffe had a long neck, because giraffe had a long neck. The that's why the animals they could not attack the giraffe, and that's why the lions cannot attack it, and that's why they ran away. So the title could be that whatever happens, whatever happens, that is for good. That could be a title. Or don't don't blame, or be happy with what you have. Be happy with what we have. That can be a title for this passage. Then we have passage 4. The inclusion of fundamental rights was demanded by Mrs. Annie Besant in the Commonwealth of India Bill. All the fundamental rights were in the favor of common citizens of India. Earlier, now the number of fundamental rights in the Constitution of India was 7, but at present it's 6. They are provided by Supreme Court. The reason for fundamental rights being 76 was, was the 44th Amendment Act, under which the right to property was removed from Part 3. All the fundamental rights were placed in Part 3 of the Constitution. Article 12 to 15 talk about fundamental rights. So this passage is about fundamental rights, and the passage can be titled as fundamental rights only, as the passage hold, talks whole, wholly on uh, wholly on wholly and only, oh, it's whole and soul and only on fundamental rights. So the title of the passage can be fundamental rights. Now we can look at passage number 5. Alfred Hitchcock was a man with a vivid imagination, strong creative skills, a passion for life. With his unique style and God gifted wit, he produced and directed some of the most thrilling films and had audience almost swooning on with fright and feeling and falling off the seats with laughter. Alfred Hitchcock was greatly influenced by American films and magazines. At the age of 20, he took up a job at the office of Paramount Studio London. Using imagination, talent, and dedication, he made each of his endeavors a success. He took great pleasure in working in the studio and often worked all 7 days a week. He moved to USA in 1939 and got his American citizenship in 1955. Here he produced many more films and hosted a weekly television show. No matter from where his ideas came, whether a magazine article, a mystery novel, or incident, his films had the typical Hitchcock touch, where the agony of suspense was relieved by interludes of laughter. Hitchcock was knighted in 1980. So, the passage is about Alfred Hitchcock. He is a very famous film director of thriller movies, suspense movies. So, we can give the title for the passage is that Alfred Hitchcock, the ultimate the ultimate thrilling director. So since this is about Alfred Hitchcock and since he has directed so many thriller movies, we can give the title like this: Alfred Hitchcock, the ultimate thrilling director. That can be a catchy title for this passage. So now revision. Key aspects of identification of the title, functions of the title. So the revision part for this identification of title of the passage. So here key aspects of identification of title that has been done in the first part of the that is 28th session we have done that. Functions of title we have also covered that, and then we also dealt with the sample passages and exercises, and a test can be conducted on this and give the passages can be given, and we can ask students to come up with suitable titles for the passages, and the passages carry 5 marks. So this is about the revision of the of this concept of identification of the title for the passages. Now, last part of the session, that is revision. And in the revision part, what I can say is 5 passages have been given to students to identify titles for them. And I have also discussed the keywords with which you can come up with your own titles for the passages. So with this, I'll close this session. I'll I'll meet you again with another topic, with another session in the coming days. Thank you very much.